spectators at the Sanyong New Zealand Road Racing Championship. John, a new season of road racing, but a changing of the guard because a lot of former riders, like yourself, are now taking on the job as manager.
Yeah, it's an interesting job. It's a little bit different to riding, and I don't know which is more nervous, to be honest, but I've got a couple of young guys from the South Island, Stephen Wood from Blenheim, who's just turned 18 years of age, and I've got Jane Smith from Christchurch on my bike, who's 25. So a couple of young guys coming through. Good results yesterday, good lap time, so yeah, pretty happy.
Who do you rate as your main opposition for the title in the 600s?
Andrew Stroud, without a doubt. Andrew's going to be fast at every single race, whether it's wet or dry, it doesn't matter what the track is. He's got number one on, and he didn't get it given to him. He won it outright, so as far as I'm concerned, Andrew's the guy to beat overall. Puke's a reasonably easy track to learn, so it'll be interesting to see how the Aussies go next weekend at Manfield. It's a lot more technical than here, and you go somewhere like Ruapuna, it gets pretty technical too. So I think that Chris Seaton from Aussie, he'll be right in the thick of it though for sure. But Stroud, I want to be the number one Suzuki rider as well, so it's I've got to beat Andrew to get into that position too. So there's two reasons to beat him.
Sam, this is a big step up for you. How are you finding it?
600, finding it pretty good. Yeah, I've adapted to it. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I've adapted. Come from the 125, so I've adapted pretty well, and I'm happy with progress so far. Yeah.
It seems to be the progression, is it? Carl Morgan started on 125s, then moved up, and then he got on to 600.
Yep.
Plenty of guys do it.
Yeah, it's definitely the usual 125s that the grassroots of, and 600 is where it's where everyone's looking, and it's where all the Dominic Jones, everyone from 125s has moved up to the 600s. It's the class to be in at the moment. Yeah.
Well, it may be the class to be in, and it's the class we'll take a look at first, the Sports Production 600cc class as they come out onto the racetrack. This is what happened in the qualifying. It was Fielding's Craig Sheriff's that was the fastest qualifier with a 59.675 lap. Alongside him on the front row will be Derek McAdam on a Kawasaki, the current national champion Andrew Stroud on a Suzuki, and David Johnson from Australia, also Suzuki mounted. Row number 2, it's Sam Smith, Chris Seaton, Chris Pearce from Canada, and Carl Morgan from Auckland. 29 bikes will face the starter, and joining me in commentary once again, Paul Pavletic.
Wow, that was a cracker too, and Seaton looked pretty good on the inside.
And what a start here from Andrew Stroud. Stroud it is, leading him through into the S's for the first of 9 times. Right in behind him, well, an international flavour we've got in the Sanyong New Zealand Road Racing Championships, and it's Chris Seaton from Australia on the Bernard Racing Pirelli Shod Suzuki, sitting in second place.
Wow, he's a top contender too. He finished 8th in the Australian Supersport Championship this year. He's only 21 years old, so it's all ahead of him.
Down into the braking area for the first time, and it is Stroud on the inside. It's Craig Sheriffs on the outside. Sheriffs has to bow to the master for the moment. Andrew Stroud, the 600 Sports Production champion of New Zealand, and he holds sway as they work their way up over the top for the first time, Paul.
The Kiwi boys gave the Aussie a lesson on hard braking then. One either side, they gave him a real dust-up.
Well, Chris Seaton, I guess it must be hard for him, his first time here at Pukekohe Park Raceway, but he's going to do the whole of the Sanyong Road Racing Championships. And look at this, 3 abreast into the sweeper here at Pukekohe, and it's Seaton that comes out the winner.
You can put that to coming over the top of the hill faster. He got much better drive, and he slipstreamed and pulled out and up the inside.
So it's all Suzuki as they work out onto the back straight for the moment. Chris Seaton from Australia, Craig Sheriffs from Fielding, Andrew Stroud from Hamilton. Derek McAdam wants a piece of this as well. That's him, bike number 9.
Well, I think he's a dark horse because that Kawasaki has got so much grunt. You should have seen it down the straight earlier in practice. It just passed 2 or 3 bikes without a blink.
Well, Seaton making up a lot of ground there. Craig Sheriffs, the back of the bike, lifting off the ground under the hard braking. He gets it back, though, through the left-hander. Well, we're in for something special here, Paul Pavletic. The times are sensational. They were in qualifying, and the racing is unbelievable, and we're only at the early stages.
It sure is. These bikes for the first time are under a minute on a 600cc Sports Production bike. Just incredible. 30 bike field, the pressure is on.
Well, and you mentioned it before, I'm sure the New Zealanders want to do well in front of their home crowd and keep the Australians at bay. Quite a few Aussies in the field. We'll get to them a little bit later, but at the moment you're watching all the action, and it's an Australian that's having a big hand in it. Down the inside, Sheriffs gets very close to him. I think Seaton's going to take the running. He does as they work their way out of the Suzuki hairpin. It is Seaton in the front, then it's Sheriffs, then it's David Johnson from Australia, then it's the current national champion, that is Andrew Stroud, and behind him it's number 9, Derek McAdam.
Well, Johnson too. letter J. He's an runner-up in the World BMX Pushbike Championship. Incredible athlete.
Well, he's been racing for the last 4 years in Europe, but he is an Australian racing here for the Brian Bernard race team. Watch out too for number 88. That's young Sam Smith, just 17 years of age, having his first season on the 600s, and he's mixing it up with the national champion. He's given Andrew Stroud the don't argue.
Don't you know who I am? Andrew Stroud's probably saying, you don't barge me, I'm the national champion.
Well, what about this? The lead has changed so many times, and it's the youngster in control here, and the back of the bike leaps off the ground again. Here comes the challenge from Craig Sheriff, and he does it. What a move round the hairpin.
Well, that was oh, somebody's down. That's a biggie.
Well, two riders come down in the hairpin. The racing continues, though, and it's the Suzuki's out in the front, and that is a big crash. And it looks like it's Dom Jones is one of them by the look of it.
Oh, no, it's Paris, too.
Well, the Canadian comes down. In fact, that's bad team riding because both of them riding for Sean Harris's Ricoh Suzuki team. Meantime, back in the front, it is Craig Sheriff leading now from David Johnson. Then it is 88 Sam Smith, the best showing of the Yamaha riders, and Derek McAdam in there as well on the Kawasaki. Don't forget Andrew Stroud because he's there as well. And right in behind him, it's the man who was making all the running earlier on, and that is Chris Seaton.
Well, Andrew Stroud will catch him, there's no doubt. He is sensational under brakes, and here he is. Look, he made up 3 or 4 bike lengths in one hairpin.
So Johnson in the front now, Sheriff's in second, Smith, McAdam. Then it is Andrew Stroud. So don't discount Andrew Stroud. We've seen it so many times, Paul. He seems to lag back, and then just at the opportune moment, he'll poise and strike.
Yeah, he's actually got a little bit of a disadvantage on these 600s. He's probably 6'2". He's not heavy, but he's tall, and the aerodynamics are a problem for him.
Oh, what about that? Sam Smith right around the outside, over the top of the hill and into the sweeper, and he stays in the front. The young kid, just 17 years of age, from Waiuku, having his first run in the 600 class. Oh, and he nearly tunneled it away. Unbelievable stuff from the kid. I don't think he knows any better. No. He just knows how to turn the throttle. 4 abreast coming to the hairpin now. What can the Aussie do? Can he hold out the young boy? Look at the back wheel jumping off the ground under the hard braking. Johnson it is on the Brian Bernard Racing Suzuki. Out in the front for the moment. Look at the attention he's getting now from young Sammy Smith. Sheriff's is right there. Stroud's right there. McAdam's hanging tough. What a sensational race. We haven't seen racing like this at Pukekohe before.
No, this is great. And Smith is so fast over the top of the hill. I can't believe it. Look at him. Look at the speed he's carrying over the hill. So 88, Sammy Smith dives to the inside, takes the front running as they work into the Jenny and home sweeper. Dave Johnson through in second place. Craig Sheriff's on the Haldane Suzuki, next one through. And then it is Andrew Stroud on the brother Suzuki. And how close do you want to go? The elbows come out from David Johnson, and he just holds on to it. Unbelievable stuff. Oh, they're going to come up on the back markers, and that's going to change the complexion of the racing. And here comes the national champion, Andrew Stroud down the inside. Johnson's got the better running of it. Craig Sheriff, pick one. Who's going to lead out of the hairpin? Wow, Johnson's a fast learner because of the first few laps. He was weak under brakes, but he showed them how to do it that time. And look at the way the field gets shuffled. Sam Smith was leading the race just 1 lap ago, and now he's back in 4th place. These 600s are amazing. Under a minute out of a 600 sports production bike. Unheard of. Well, I guess you're talking speeds of 160 miles an hour under the braking area for the hairpin. These guys don't know any quarter, and they're certainly not giving any. Johnson back in the front. Sheriff, Stroud, Sam Smith's there. So too McAdam. So too Chris Seaton. I think McAdam on that Kawasaki is going to get a good draft down the back straight. It really does grunt, that 600 Kawasaki. Well, everyone tells us in the pits that it's the acknowledged horsepower monster. Let's see what he can do this time round. This time the challenge may be coming on the outside from the Haldane Suzuki. Craig Sheriff's trying to get round David Johnson. Perfect. Inside, outside move, squared the turn and gets the race lead. So Craig Sheriff's in the front. Andrew Stroud's come from 4th to 2nd. Look, that mistake too. You're only talking half a metre and you've passed the apex and they're going to come up the inside of you. That's all it was. Well, for the first time, Paul, in this race, we can say there's a little bit of breathing space at the front, or is there? Because have a look on the outside of the screen. Here comes Sam Smith, but it's a little bit too late, and it is Craig Sheriff that gets the win. Andrew Stroud, the defending champion, goes through in 2nd place, 0.9 of a second in it. Then it was Sam Smith, Australia's David Johnson, Chris Seaton, and Wellington's Derek McAdam.
It got very, very, very busy in that race. It was probably one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting race I've had. Yeah, it's just people going everywhere.
Did you think with 1 to go that you had a sniff of it?
Oh, I knew I was definitely in with a shout, but yeah, I slipstreamed my way past, I don't even know who it was, on the last lap down the back straight. We were sort of side by side going into the brakes. and it was one of the Aussie guys. I was just more worried about Sam Smith being behind me on the Yamaha, and I thought he might have slipstream on the start line there, because he's passed me a few times over the weekend down the front straight there, but I was weaving all over the show coming off the hill.
I think we had 9 laps. We had about 30 lead changes. There must have been some pretty heavy outbraking going on at the hairpin.
Yeah, the hairpin was very, very busy. Turn 1 was getting pretty exciting there a couple of times as well, but one of the Aussie boys, I think Sam was leading going into Castro, and the Aussie fella just went in real tight and smacked into him a few times, and I thought they might knock each other off into the grass. I was sort of crossing my fingers for it, to be honest. And then Stroudy came past on the brakes on second to last lap, and I was like, shit, he's the last guy I want behind me. But it all worked out good for us, so I'm very, very happy.
You're a 3-time Australian Superbike champion. You're having your first